Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I got on here and talked about my brewing. The beard's shorter, the hair's longer, and it's been a while since I was able to brew. I had been working a lot of overtime and trying to enjoy family time with um, the holidays and everything. So it's been a while since I got on here and talked about my brewing. I brewed today. I brewed a gingerbread brown ale, which I got a kit from Great Fermentations Indie. I love those guys. Take such good care of me since I'm still brewing small batches. I had them break up their 5 gallon kit into individual 1 gallon brew packages so that I could brew it as I could. I also bottled my New England IPA, which um, it it's a basic recipe, but it was my first. It has a 2 row carapils, cascade at 5 minutes in the boil, and dry hopped with citra with lactose in there as well. Um, Got to try it flat and warm, and it was good. I'm naturally carbonating it now, and we'll hopefully have carbonated beer in about a week to 2 weeks, and get to try it then. The gingerbread brown ale has a. It starts off with 2 row. Has um,
What is two-row?
a,
Is that a wheat or a hop?
it's a barley.
I mean,
2 row is a base malt, lightly roast or lightly kilned.
base meaning alkaline?
No, base as in it's just the starting of most beers. It's the least flavorful, least. Um, I'll have to do a video
That
on,
doesn't sound appealing. Least flavorful?
well, it's a base malt. It's a lightly kilned starter, so you can build up on the flavors from the different roasts. With my New England IPA, it's not very malty. I don't want a very malty beer. I want a hoppy beer. So I do 2 row and carapils to add um, carbonation, where the hops are the main show.
So is the gingerbread brown ale not malty?
No, it is malty. The
But
gingerbread
it has a two-row in it
as
too.
a starter base, as a base malt.
Okay.
Pilsner is a base malt. 2 row is a base malt. 6 row is a base malt.
Okay, two-row as in number two?
Yes.
Oh, see, I was thinking like the name of it was like Touro.
No. 2 row is in 2 rows of grains on the stalk or on the head, where 6 row.
Two-row.
Oh.
6 row.
Yes. So 6 row. It was 6 row is an American base malt. It's not as there's a lot more. Oh shoot, I can't think of it. Anyways, when brewers still first came to America, and the German brewers first came to America, they had to use 6 row instead of their,
Deutsche. Yeah.
which they weren't used to, and so they had to add rice and corn to either round out the flavor or if anybody can comment. Please tell me exactly what it's a protein. 6 row has less of a protein than the 2 row does, and so they had to supplement the flavor they were used to with corn or rice. Um, Now that we have 2 row, we have had for decades now. It's just it's a lot easier. You don't have to do rests.
Which are
Where you slowly ramp up the temperature
well,
as you're mashing.
uh-huh.
You can just do a single infusion mash, one temperature, get all those starches converted to sugars, but the gingerbread brown, I'll show put the recipe up, has a lot of dark roast chocolate malt, carafa 2, all these dark roasts to give, of course, the porter look, the darker, the maltier.
It's the best.
My wife loves that. It's her favorite. She likes the darker beers versus the lighter lagers or the New England IPAs or even just standard IPAs. Um, I kind of like the hoppier, fruitier aspects of it, but I do enjoy this gingerbread. Um,
Piss water.
it's not piss water. That's a bush, and that's
It's still, well, okay, fruity piss water.
she calls my Nipa fruity piss water.
Mm-hmm.
My family here in Indiana all like Bush Light, and I'll drink it if there's nothing else.
Fruity
But
piss water is better than that.
she says fruity piss water is better than that.
They can hear me.
Well,
Oh.
maybe not. I have my microphone in my earpiece, so if she doesn't come through, I'm trying to reiterate that. Um, but this is very malty. It has just for my 1 gallon system, just has a quarter ounce of hops at the very beginning, just for bittering. East Kent Golding hops, just at the beginning of the boil, just to give that bitterness. And then you add all these wonderful gingerbread seasonings: ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. And if I was to make the full 5 gallon batch, it calls for 3/4 of a pound of molasses. And since I'm only doing a gallon, it was 2.5 ounces. And it gives it the sweetness, it adds the molasses flavor to it as it's brewing. And then when it's time to bottle, I'll add brown sugar as the priming sugar to add even more of that, amazing gingerbread flavor. It's a good winter beer. It's moderately high ABV, between 4.2 and 6.2 ABV, depending on how efficient it is. I was actually quite happy. This is the first time I used my hydrometer as I bottled the New England IPA, and I hit exactly my ending gravity. So I'm hoping I didn't get a chance to test it as the post-boil gravity, so I don't know exactly what my ABV is, but at least I can know that I hit the final. And with having friends over today during my brew day and first time using the hydrometer, I didn't get a post boil on my gingerbread brown either. So, c'est la vie. I'll see how well it ferments out and hopefully hit my numbers again, my ending number again, and remember next time to do it. My wife came to me earlier in the week and asked me how much an all-in-one system was. The one she asked about was the claw hammer, 120 volt, 5 gallon system, which is a 10.5 gallon kettle. And as much as I watch those videos and know that system and I like that system, I'm not paying $800 or almost $900 for it. So looking at a few other systems, the Rober Brew and the Grainfather, I think I'm settling on the Blickman Anvil. It's from Blickman Engineering under their Anvil brand, the Foundry. And it's kind of cool that it's built right here in my city here in Lafayette. For about half the price, and that's with a recirculating pump and cooling coil. Stainless steel, not copper, but for my first all-in-one system, I think it's going to serve me well, and I like supporting local companies. That's why I've always ordered from Great Fermentations, other than my wife getting me a bottling keg / fermenter cleaner from More Beer, which makes cleanup so much easier. I also tried a brew in the bag for the first time instead of a 3-pot system that I had been using for over a year. I'd actually just shaved about an hour off my brew day. Don't know exactly how. Maybe it was waiting for the water to heat back up or something, but it not having to I hate my mind sometimes. Instead of having to sparge, running the water over the grains to get the sugars rinsed off of it, I just did a full volume mash and hit my 1 gallon like I thought I would. Everything went easy cleanup. Highly recommend for the first time brew in the bag. I was listening to on another topic. I was listening to Brew Strong, back one of their episodes from the National Homebrewers Association at Providence, Rhode Island this year, and they were talking with John Blickman about the all-in-one systems that are on the market. And
We need to meet John.
my wife says we need to meet John Blickman.
I keep having these fantasies that he'll go to our church and we'll meet him and be like, wow.
We go to the one of the larger churches here in Lafayette, and she keeps hoping that he'll stop by our church and we can stop and talk to him, because we're both very intelligent people and both have love science and engineering, and just to be able to sit down and talk to him. But he was talking on the radio, on the podcast, on Brew Strong, on that podcast, which I listen to on Stitcher, about all the all-in-one systems, and they were saying how so few of the first-time home brewers in the past couple of years have gone with extract. And I've never gone with extract. I started off with all grain from the 1 gallon kit Elizabeth got me for Christmas last year. I've never done extract, and I'm glad I've gotten to be able to control all my things, from the beginning, and not having to learn another system going from extract to all grain. And it's just been good, even though, again, thanks to great fermentations for splitting up the batches, that can be kind of difficult at getting kits or trying to figure out my 5 gallon recipes and breaking them down into 1 gallon batches. But it's been fun, and I've enjoyed this hobby, and I'm glad to be able to have a brew day the first time for a couple of months. So, well, I'm going to sign off for tonight, and you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Good night.